All right. We are here with executive producer, actor, YouTuber, Big Joe Castro, a.k.a. official Big Joe. Joe, thanks for being here.
Hey, gracias, man. I appreciate you having me here today, Bobby G. You know, it's just, man, this has been a long time coming. Spent at homes, but, you know, the schedule's been crazy, dog, but I'm here now.
Completely understandable, man. We ain't tripping on that. Glad that you're here. Appreciate you pulling up so we can get this interview on the road.
All right, gracias.
So let's start from the beginning, Joe. Where are you originally from?
I was born and raised in Orange County. Yeah, I was born just a regular vato from the barrio right there. I grew up in the city of Placencia in a barrio called La Jolla Street. And eventually wound up just being from the Mad Ones clique from there. And third generation from that barrio. So, you know, grew up there, ran the streets, you know, did what all of us basic soldiers always did in the barrios, you know what I mean? Acting a fool, just doing all that stuff, man. I don't really talk about like war stories and stuff like that. Yeah, because I just feel like all that's the past. But what I can say is I learned a lot, lost a lot, gained a lot, but at the same time, was privileged enough to create a bond with my homeboys, with my friends. You know, like your homeboys are your homeboys, but when you grow up in that situation, they're your friends first because you grow up as children together. At a certain point, then it transitions to being homeboys, and then but you still have that brotherhood with them. You know what I mean? Unless you come in like later in life and you start banging a certain neighborhood, and then you know what I mean, they're your homeboys straight up. They were never like your childhood friends like they were with me. You know what I mean? But love and respect to everybody down there, man, in the neighborhood, because they're still out there. There's still people out there that I think the clique I was from was the first generation. Right now they're on the sixth generation. So, you know, it's just sad because I don't like to see people out there on the streets or the homeboys out there losing their lives or you know, getting locked up and stuff like that because, man, life's precious, life's short. And when we're out here, man, we got to like take the most out of it and enjoy it.
So you have lost homies.
Yeah.
In this lifestyle.
Yeah. Lost homies to being killed, to drugs, to the system, you know, being locked up for life, you know, just, yeah, all that, man. It's just, it's sad, and I pray for them and their families because the biggest victims out of all that are the families, are the mom, the dad, wives, brothers, sisters. You know, the families are the ones, when they lose somebody, whether it's 6 feet under or it's to the system, they lose them, and they're not able to have them in their lives 24 hours like normal families, you know? And so, in the big story of it all, they wind up being the big victims of it all. And that's every barrio that there is, every neighborhood, every ghetto, everybody that goes out there and they're doing the gang thing or they're just living that lifestyle, man, their families wind up being the victims at the end of the story.
Yeah, so at what point in your life were you attracted to the gang life?
I wasn't. It was the lifestyle already that I was living. See, my homeboys, we're all friends since we're at kindergarten. You know what I mean? And growing up, you know, kindergarten, first, second, third, you know, all the different grades, they were just, like I said, they were your friends. And then when you got to that certain age where you wound up realizing that these are my homeboys, was probably like 11 years old, 12 years old, you wind up realizing that you are a gang. You are a part. Even though we always said, oh, the neighborhood, and we would throw it out there, but I think at 11, between 10 and 12 is when you realize that you are clicked up in the gang, you know, but because before it was just your homeboys, just your friends that you're out there playing on the streets or whatever. But yeah, so there was never really a choice of being in a gang or not. It was just the lifestyle, especially when your grandparents are from there, your parents are from there. Like I said, everybody was just like family. So everybody knew everybody. Oh, the Castros, the Perez's, the Martinez, everybody knew everybody. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go join this gang. One day you're this and one next day you're that. It's not like that. Well, not for me, it wasn't.
So you kind of grew up in the gang culture then?
Yeah, I grew up. It was normal. It was just, I didn't know anything different. You know what I mean? So hanging out, you know, doing the bad stuff wasn't bad to us. It was just recreation. I mean, we didn't have the opportunity to be going to skate parks or going to miniature golf or going to batting cages. We didn't have none of that. We played with bats, but for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was just a lifestyle, man. You know, I had somebody tell me not too long ago on a podcast I was on. They said, "Hey, you know, you're this old, but you still dress like that. You know, dress like a cholo. And how are you supposed to be a role model for the youngsters and this and that?" And I said, "Look, whether like this is just my style of clothes. That's all it is. It's not that, oh, I'm a gangster, because I'm not anymore. I'm not active in that no more. You know what I mean? I'm out of that lifestyle. But the way I dress, just the way I dress. You know, if I wear penny loafers and I wear Dockers and I wear a button-up shirt to my neck, doesn't make me better than the vato wearing Dickies or Levi's with white tennis shoes. Doesn't make me better than that. You know what I mean? It just makes it a different style. That's all. But then I was telling that vato online. I wasn't arguing with him, but I was just saying my clothes don't define who I am. It's my heart. It's how I speak. It's what I have up here in the brain and what my spirit is generating out there to people. You know, and so that's the main factor of it all.
Yeah, clothing is just a preference.
Yeah.
People like certain ways to dress, and that's their preference. They can dress any way they want. It doesn't mean that they're a gangbanger. They might like the lifestyle, and that's why they choose to dress that way. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a gangster or a gangbanger because they dress a certain way.
Yeah, yeah. You know, like, yeah, no, I agree. You know, like the homeboy Cholo Trucker, he wants to wear tight jeans and skinny jeans and you know, I mean, and with no socks with penny loafers, that's up to him. Holmes, you know, I ain't gonna judge him, you know. You know, I was gonna say something about Sonny, but you know, Sonny get mad at me right there, so it's okay, Holmes.
Yo, shout out to Cholo Trucker.
Yep.
Good guy. Real good guy, man.
And shout out to my boy Sonny.
Shout out to Sonny Boy Acosta.
Yeah.
I just had him on an interview.
Yeah. No, do a shout out to homeboy Izzy. He wearing his dolphin shorts next to me right here and chilling. You know what I mean? Shout out to the homie, yeah.
So what was that relationship with your parents like growing up?
Well, I was raised by my grandparents and my dad's parents, because my mom and dad were both heroin addicts. And they were young. My dad was 15, my mom was 16. They had me, and then a year later they had my sister Linda. And then after that is when they got started in the heroin. And then by then they were already separated. And so I was raised by my grandparents, and then my sister was raised by the other side of the family. And, you know, so, but it's a trip because I would see my dad, you know, when he was high. So I always put it in my heart that I'm not going to be like that. So when all the homeboys were getting high and, you know, smoking PCP, doing Cocoa Puffs, acid, whatever, I would never do that because I didn't want to be like that. You know what I mean? I knew what I didn't want in life, and that was to be like my parents, addicted to something. But I did make it up in beer. So I was like what you would consider an alcoholic though. So, which is not much better than, but it is than doing heroin or something like that, you know? So I wound up drifting into the alcohol from the age of 15 to 21. Yeah, I would drink so much, my kidneys would hurt. And it was a trip, man. But I think that was a way that we numbed the pain, you know, that we had out there just for the stuff we were going through in life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, alcohol is, I would consider alcohol like the number one drug because it's the gateway drug to everything else. You get under the influence of alcohol, it leads you to other stuff. If it's available to you, back in the day, I'm not gonna lie, when I drank a lot and substances were available to me, sometimes I'd partake into that just like everybody else. I know a lot of people won't admit to it, but if we're real, you know, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
You know, alcohol is a big thing. So when your parents were using, how did that make you feel as an adolescent?
Well, I had my grandparents there, so they picked up the role of parent. You know what I mean? So, like, I didn't see my mom too much.
But you said you seen your dad.
My dad, because that was his parents, so he lived at the house too. So, I would see him when he come home, because he was a functioning addict. He'd work and then come home, but I see him more at that time like a brother, because we're not that far in age, only 15 years. But I knew he was my pops, but he lived his life, you know what I mean? He was out there just doing his thing, and he'd go party and do all that stuff. Because, that was like the 70s, early 80s, but, when you eat, because I knew that was my dad, and I knew what he was doing. But man, you didn't want that from him, you know what I mean? I seen my dad OD. I seen him die. I heard him fall in the restroom, and when I went over there to the restroom, knocking on the door, and I went to go tell my grandma, hey, and she came, and he was out, and they called 911, the ambulance came, and then they revived him on the sofa with the paddles, and they brought him back. And that stuff, like when you see that, it's traumatizing for a kid. So now, like with the stuff we do, we try to work with the youth, we try to work with like the kids at Boys Republic, and we try to work with charities and nonprofits and stuff. We try to put that out there that, hey, these kids that are living that life, or they're living with parents that are on drugs or alcohol, or just absent parents, they need somebody to mentor them too. They need that confidence, they need that advice, how to get through life, because without our parents, it's hard. I mean, thank God I have my grandparents there, but some people don't even have that, and so who's their guidance? Or they could be the latchkey kid, where the mom and dad both work, this is the day and age, right? So when they go home, they're just home alone. And then who knows if they're even home, or they take off and they're wandering the streets with their friends, because they're all latchkey kids. And then who gives them the advice, the consejos of, how to conduct themselves as a young man or a young lady, and how to have respect, dignity, integrity. And I think that's what we're lacking right now, especially in the schools. It's just a really bad time right now. So it'd be better if we can mentor the youngsters. And so there's a lot of guys that I'm working with right now that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to, and even if it's through a podcast, to let them know, hey, conduct yourself with respect, at all times. Maintain that respect at all times, because it's demanded of you, as a young man. Because as they get older, you think they're going to get better or worse? You know what I mean? And that's where society's at right now. All these people getting locked up, going to the pen, going to the county, and they're rotating doors, you know what I mean? So we need to be out there doing our best, to try to reach as many as we can.
I agree with that 100%, because I feel like society is failing our youth at this time and age. The world we're living in is crazy right now, with all the school shootings and everything that's going on with the world, all these rappers getting killed and stuff. Where's our mindset, man? Where's the youth's mindset?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How do you feel about everything that's going on in the world today?
Man, honestly, see, I'm a Christian, right? So I believe in the Bible, I believe in God, and that's my beliefs. I feel like we're in the end days, because the way things are, man, it's like everything's about LGBTQ. Everything's about BLM. Everything's about, and they're separating races, they're separating genders. And now it's not like, oh, he's gay, he's straight. No, that's transgender, that's LC5 3.9. I have all these different names for people, and it's like, and if you don't get that name straight, if you call somebody a certain thing, and I'm not saying that the derogatory word, but if you call them, like, you're not telling them by the right LGT 5.7, then you're canceled, what they consider cancel culture or whatever, or like that Latinx, you know what I mean? And it's just all these different names and titles, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Everybody wants to be extra special. How about we just try human? You know what I mean? Well, let's just try human being. Let's just try to be, everybody show love for each other. Everybody just show respect for all of us, and we'll all get along, and we'll all be able to get a lot further in life. But the way things are right now, man, like you said, the rappers are killing themselves. These guys are millionaires, but they want to bang. These guys have their life set where they could be able to take care of their families, take care of their communities, their everybody that's around them. But instead, they want to gangbang, and they want to talk smack on social media, and be keyboard gangsters too, and then it's like, and then they get smoked, and then everything's lost. Like their whole circle is gonna go down into poverty because there's not that support system from that rapper no more. So then that's a big loss though as a rapper too. Like they're out there putting good music out. They're out there. They fought against the system, not the system, but against what they lived. You know, poverty or whatever they went through. They fought against it, and they came up through it. Like just being able to come out of the ashes of that type of lifestyle and be successful, only to get smoked on the street. It's like, man, you did all that work, man. Then this guy that couldn't just, nobody could take an L no more. Nobody wants to box. Nobody wants to just throw it down. And especially nobody's gonna throw it down. If you lose, you get up, shake his hand, and it's over with. No, I want my get backs. I want my get backs. When did that word come around? I want my get backs. And my day, man, when you took a loss like a man, and okay, you won this time, we'll see what happens next time. But you didn't say like, I want my run backs. I want to get this. Man, it's just a sad time right now. Sad because everybody wants to be the winner, but we all can't be the winner. Somebody's got to take that loss with respect. And I don't know, man. I'm just trying to figure it out.
I think people are lacking that respect. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, like you said, you just mentioned, you know, you live to fight another day. We win some, we lose some. But now it just, you lose, and you lose permanently. You know, they shoot you. They don't want to fight. They just want to shoot you, kill you, steal your chain. You know, rest in peace, PNB Rock. Rest in peace, all these other rappers that are getting killed on the daily. This is not monthly. This is becoming daily now. Every time I look at my phone, there's another rapper dead. Yeah. Real talk.
Yeah.
Every day, there's I might not know the rapper, but he's dead. You know? Yeah. They're dying every day now. It's like, it's trending.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I thought all that, you know, when Tupac passed away and Biggie passed away, I thought those guys were the biggest rappers ever, and, you know, they went out the way that, you know, they went out on their shield and all that. But now it's like every single day you got a rapper dying, man. I think it's out of control now.
Yeah.
They're saying not to come to LA. Don't come to LA unless you tap in with somebody. Don't come to LA wearing chains and flossing your shit. You know, and that's not only at LA. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. But look that's why I was like, you know, I came with my certificate from Swifty Blue, so I could be moving around out here. You know what I mean? I went online and gracias Swifty for letting me run around for 1 week, you know, and
so you got the Swifty Blue pass?
Yeah, I got the Swifty. It's good for 1 week from Swifty Blue. So I'm cool, man. I can go anywhere. What day are you in now? I'm on day 3 right now. So I got 4 more days. Yeah, I got 4 more days and I'm good.
And can you renew that, or is that?
Yeah, I have to go back online. No, I got to go back online and renew it and see if he gives me the pass to come out again.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm trying to cover all the podcasts I can right now before I got to go back into my cave, you know. But seriously though, like, all respect though.
Joe, how do you feel about the whole Swifty Blue situation? He's the talk of the town right now. Everybody's talking about Swifty. What's your take on that?
I met Swifty like 3 weeks ago at a concert we did, and I was backstage talking with him. Good kid, like, you know, like normal. And I say kid because I'm a lot older than that, Vato, but just had a good conversation with him, and he was real respectful and all that. So when it comes to his personality, from what I personally know of, he was just, like I said, he was respectful and he carried himself the right way. But as far as like everything going on social media, I think it's all for exposure. So if it's for exposure, then hey, my props to him. He's doing it. He's getting the exposure, going on No Jumper. As far as the topics and everything he's been saying, like, man, just tone it down, Holmes. Like, really think before you speak on these platforms. Because, like, I could come on right now and I could bite my tongue big time. But luckily, I got Bobby G right here. He's gonna clip it and then he'll just put it out by itself later. But then he'll save this interview, you know what I mean? But then he'll put me on blast maybe next year. But anyways, you gotta watch what you say, especially with these trolls like Adam. Then there's the other one he did not too long ago with the other Gabacho. These vatos, they want controversy. So they're gonna spin their questions the way they want. And then if you're not like fast, you might be a fast rapper, but if you're not fast enough to think before you say something, then they're gonna get you caught up in a wreck. You know what I mean? I mean, I could come on here and I could talk all kinds of frivolous stuff and get myself caught into a wreck if I wanted to right now. But but I don't need the followers. You know what I mean? I really don't. I don't need everybody to have their eyes on me. I'm cool. You know what I mean? I'm cool without that. But maybe as a rapper coming up, you do. But if you're gonna get the be noticed for something good, not for controversy. Because we've seen what happens to other people when it's about controversy. You know, it could end bad, and nobody wants that, Holmes. Nobody wants that, especially like. And I know people don't like saying Chicano rap, and Chicano rap, I don't think we lost anybody like where these guys are killing each other, and we don't want that, Holmes. We don't want that to happen. Like, that would be unbecoming of what we are and what we stand for. Yeah, you vatos kill yourselves on the streets, but that's gang politics. That's different. But when you're in the rap game and you're being successful and you're doing a movement and everybody around you is eating from you too, like, why go on gang banging online or gang banging on the phone and Instagram and this and that? You know what I mean? There's no need for it. Where all these rappers, I think all these Chicano rappers need to get together and support each other and push each other and you know, do work with each other. I forget the word because I'm not into that, but where they do verses with each other and they help each other out. Collabs, yeah, and then also not just amongst Chicanos, but work with everybody else, all colors, and push each other up, not be gunning each other down, Holmes. Because what do you get? Just another funeral? I mean, we had too many of those homes that we don't need no more. We're cool. We're cool with the death, dog. COVID came, swept through, and took a lot of people out. And we don't need people's pride doing it again. You know what I mean? There was a lot of pride in the 80s and 90s, homes. And it seems like that's rearing it back up again, too. So I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see no, like, color barriers. You know what I mean? I don't want to see no gang barriers. None of that stuff, you know, but just peace, man, just peace. I mean, it should be that way. It needs to be that way. Because there's a lot of mom and dads and wives and kids that want their parents to be home tonight, not be dead on a sidewalk bleeding out. You know what I mean? We got enough bad in this world, man. We need good. Just like with your podcast, man. Like, it's a good podcast. You don't throw all that controversy out there. You're not out there like feeding off the trolls. Where these other ones, man, they do that, and they do that without anybody saying anything or without any kind of like penalty for what they're doing. You know what I mean? They'll go there, and I call them culture vultures, and you guys can take that for who you want to take it from. But you know, they're not even our race or the race that they're working with. But yet they want to put everything on blast, and like, it's almost like creating a war between races. And it's like, why do you want to do that? And it's not going to affect your doorstep. You know what I mean? Or why do you want to have this guy on your platform stir the pot or get this vato tongue tied where he's spewing stuff he shouldn't? But you're not going to say like, okay, stop. Hey, maybe you shouldn't say this, or hey, should I cut this out? No, they're going to put that, and they're going to put the volume up and post it out there and get people caught in a wreck. So my advice to Swifty is like, keep doing your thing, Holmes. Like, keep your music out there, keep pushing. Maybe stay off the social media platforms for a while, Holmes. But that's all I can say, folks, is I wouldn't want to see nobody to get hurt or canceled, right, or any of that stuff.
Here's the thing, man. We're living in the age of social media. This is new to us because we grew up with not even a cell phone. Cell phones came later in life. We were used to just going out and socializing. That was our social media, is actually socializing with people. We don't do that no more. Our kids don't do that no more. They got iPads, they got iPhones, and that's their form of communication and socializing with people. It's sad, but that's the new era. That's what we're living in now. So these culture vultures, as you call it, it's you know, the media's always been spinning stuff since day one. Okay? They've been broadcasting it since day one. They've been causing controversy. This is the known facts, right? This is what they've been doing. It just, nowadays, it's readily available for everyone now. We can all stream. We're streaming this podcast. We can do it. So some people see it as a money grab And now I can capitalize on this. I can capitalize on people's deaths, people getting killed, or controversy with this and that. And it's making money because people are watching. People like you and me, yeah, we're interested in seeing what so-and-so has to say. So we'll watch it. And with views, people get monetized. Now you're making money. No Jumper, congratulations to them. They got a brand new $5 million studio because of this, of content creating. And now they're super huge. Congratulations on that, though. You know what I'm saying? We all want to make it to a certain level, and he's doing very well in his business. You know? But with that comes controversy. A lot of people are saying, oh, he's glorifying people's deaths. He's putting a lot of bad shit out there. But the same token, you know, a lot of people are. He's just on a bigger platform, right? No Jumper. There was an incident that happened with Tyga when he did that whole rap video. It caused a lot of controversy with the Hispanic culture, right? You were a part of that. American Cholo went to No Jumper, and they had to sit down and they discussed it. You were part of the 50 Mexicans or whatever number it was that showed up. What is your take on that whole situation?
I'm not Mexican, Holmes. I'm Chicano. No, I'm messing with you, Holmes. That's another thing, Holmes. Everybody's like,
that's another big thing.
That's another big thing. I'm Chicano, I'm Mexican, I'm Latino, I'm Hispanic. Man, yeah, everybody has these names, Holmes, and it's crazy, dog. Like, just call me human being. That's it.
You're right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that thing going out there was just to let them know, like let the masses know that as a Latino, as a Mexican, as a Hispanic, whatever, we were just drawing that brown line in the sand, Holmes, of like, stop disrespecting our culture, stop disrespecting the raza, because we're done. We're tired of it. You know what I mean? It started with YG, then it went to Blueface, and now Tyga did it. And yeah, Tyga, his video wasn't as bad as the other two, but it was just the line that had to be drawn, you know. And it was like, no disrespect to Tyga or anything like that. It was just like, hey, don't disrespect us. You know, if you don't see it, we're gonna show it to you. Look at this is what it was. And so Gil went out there and he was the face of it for that time, you know. And but for me, being out there, that's the reason why I went out there, just to show that, hey, we're tired of being disrespected. We're not gonna be what you guys think we are, which is the Mexican that just gets told something, puts their head down and walks away. That's not us, you know what I mean? We've never been that. But there have been some that are maybe come from Mexico that are illegal, that they would do it like that, you know what I mean? Because they didn't want to get deported back or cause a big fuss, something like that. But like those of us that are from here, like, nah, Charlie, like, you're disrespecting on a video like that. Like, no, this is the line that we're drawing. That's what it was all about for me to go out there for that day, you know. And I know Gil was out there talking about like how they cut up his words and this and that, you know, and all that. He had that conversation with them too. And it seemed like I give mad respect to AD and Duno, because those two vatos, like, they were real about it. They were real, they were concerned, and they wanted to get it taken care of. And Adam didn't show up. He wasn't there. He was probably in the back room. They didn't want to come out after he saw everybody show up. But
Flacco also didn't.
Yeah, he wasn't there either. Yeah, Poetic Flacco wasn't there. None of the regular guys that are there, you know. But when I went there, I thought it was going to be like me, Gil, Boo Boo, and maybe a couple other guys. I didn't know it was going to be that deep, you know. But at the same time, like, it was just to show, like, hey, this vato ain't here by himself. Like, he's here to stand up for himself. He's not a whack job that's just here to speak on one topic. Like, in other words, his own agenda. Like, what he's talking about is true. It's right. We deserve to be respected. So that's why I went. That's why I was there to push that movement. Because, you know, no one person is bigger than the movement. You know, and we got to be there to help each other out, to push that agenda. And it's not really an agenda. It's just like a basic right. You know what I mean? It's a basic right. I mean, I know Bobby wants to be respected. Just like Sonny and Izzy want to be respected. You don't want more respect than these vatos. You just want to be respected evenly. And that's us. We want to be respected evenly. And if I'm a dumbass and I come at somebody sideways and I lose that respect, you know what I mean? Like, people don't have respect for me no more. That's me as an individual. You can't put it on my whole race. You know what I mean? You put that on me, and then you guys don't have to respect me no more because I came at you guys wrong or sideways or talking out my neck. Then that's understandable. But as a people, we deserve to be respected like anybody else. Because everybody was talking about, stop Asian hate, BLM. Everybody was talking about their movements, but when the paletero men were getting robbed, nobody said like, hey, stop, robbing them, or hey, let's do something for them, or hashtag stop robbing vendors or whatever. Like, that wasn't happening, and so I think it's the time that we have to stand up for our people and say, hey, this is the line. Like, you can't be doing this. This is wrong, and just like we wouldn't do this to you, don't do this to us.
Yeah, a lot of people felt that it was a little extreme to take that many people to a podcast. And some people said that it was okay. It was part of a movement, like you just stated. How do you feel about that? You think it was the right thing to do to come that deep?
It's a 50-50, man. It depends on what side of the fence you're standing on. They could have went there and there could have been 50 of whatever they call the ops, which it wasn't ops because we weren't there to fight nobody.
Right.
But there could have been 50 black guys there. Could have been 50 skater guys there. Right. There could have been, and so going there just to show like, hey, this guy ain't alone. And it's like if I go by myself to a podcast and I'm screaming, hey, this and that, rasta, 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 and people are like, what's that guy talking about? You know what I mean? Yeah, the sky's red. It's blue. No, it's red. People were like, he's on his own thing. But that was just to show like, hey, Gil's here and he's talking about the movement of give us respect like we give you guys respect. Don't be putting out these videos about our culture or making fun of our culture because we're not going to stand for it no more. And then he was there to talk about, hey, don't slice up these videos making me look like this when that's not the narrative. And the whole thing is like, he didn't slice that up and create that video, but they reposted it. As a social media network, as a podcast network, we all have responsibilities in what we repost. You know what I mean? So we should all, kind of like being journalists, we should fact check all the basics and everything that we do. So that was up to them to fact check. But if you feel like if your channel is pushing an agenda that's not about fact checking, like you want to push this narrative and you want the controversy because that's what you live off of, that's your bread and butter, that's where you get your millions of views off of, then that's what you're going to do. You know what I mean? That day he was there and we're talking to Adam on the phone on the video. Well, they were, Bozo and Gil were talking to him. He wasn't understanding. He was saying, as being like part of a news outlet, and it's our responsibility for this, but it's also your responsibility to research. Everybody knows that. The LA Times, the New Yorker, everybody knows that when you're a journalist or a reporter, you have to check all your facts and man, you got to cross your T's and dot your I's because they can all get lawsuits, right? For defamation of character. See, I'm like losing it right now. Delirious, eh? But that's the thing. Like they didn't want to, and Adam wasn't accepting it. And when I was there listening to Adam, you could tell in his voice. And this is coming from me. This is my perspective. In his voice, he didn't give a shit. He didn't care. He didn't. He was just like, you could tell it's going in this ear and out another. When you talk to your kids and you're scolding them or you're talking to them about something and you could tell like they're all like, their eyes are over here and over there. They're not in the conversation. That's what it felt like. And that's what I saw and that's what I heard. And so he didn't care, man. He didn't care. And it's about the money. But not all money is good money. And everything that was happening between black and brown, what could have happened, it wasn't going to affect him. It wasn't going to affect him in his wherever he lives, Beverly Hills or some fancy area. It wasn't going to affect his block. And so it's kind of that thing like, who cares? It ain't my problem. I'm going to put it out and make my money. And that's wrong, man. That's wrong. That's like blood money. That's bad money. You know what I'm saying? And we have to learn. We have to learn how to respect everybody's culture, everybody's way of life, but respect life, period. You know what I mean? Because us, you, me, Sonny, Big Paul, everybody, if we say the wrong thing online, we can cause a ripple effect that can devastate somebody else down the road. And it's wrong. You're supposed to be responsible. Sometimes we make mistakes because we're human. We don't walk on water. But when you're making those waves on purpose with a 2x4, you need to be held accountable. And that's all I got to say about that.
Well, controversy is going to cause views, right?
Yeah.
Controversy is going to rake in the views, millions of views. So that's, like you said, a media outlet, a news outlet. That's why you see more negative stuff on TV than positive stuff. Why? Because negative stuff is going to attract you to it more, right?
Yeah.
It's just a common factor. It's built in our mind that way. That's the way we're built.
Yeah.
If it's negative, we're all in. If somebody got bit in half by a shark, we're all on that.
Yeah.
A kitten is rescued from a tree. Ain't nobody trying to watch that.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
And if they are, they're saying you should have shot him down. You know?
Right, you should have shot him down.
Yeah, and I get it. I understand that. And if you as a person are good with blood money, then go for it. You do your thing. But then there's those of us that we don't want to live off of that. You know what I mean? We want to be able to push our own narrative that's a positivity, you know what I mean? Unity, stuff like that. And like with Big Paul, we started that channel. He started that channel and we were working on it. And it was growing and growing without the negativity, without doing any of that stuff. And right now he's got a big platform. And I say, like, I thank God that God blessed his platform because it's pretty big right now, but not off of the sweat or the blood of anybody else. So that's, so when you think about that, it can be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody has their choice and their opinion, how to run stuff. Like you said, if they want to stir that negativity because it's going to bring them views, and that's just, everybody's entitled to their choice, and they can do whatever they want. Some people want to use it for good, some people want to use it for bad. I wouldn't say, people, at the end of the day, you want to put content that people can relate to, right? You want to be informative with your stuff. If I have you on because you're gonna give people information, you're gonna give somebody something they can think about, right? That they can process, and that's what podcasts are, and radio stations do the same thing. But okay, so American Cholo, the whole clip that you were talking about of him saying the N-word. Now, he wasn't saying the N-word per se in a what's the word I'm looking for?
The derogatory way.
Derogatory form. He wasn't trying to do it like that. He was telling a story.
Yeah.
And he used the N-word as his friend was telling him. He was repeating what his friend said in a story, right? He used the N-word.
Yeah, he was telling the story real and raw on how exactly went down.
Exactly how it went down.
Yeah, which maybe he should have said.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Do you think he should have used the N-word fully, or you think he should have worded it differently?
Like I said, we're part of a podcast world. We're part of like being considered in like reporters, right, or interviewers. So we do have to watch what we say. Like, we're not professional. I'm not a professional interviewer. I'm not a professional anything. My wife says I'm a professional clown, but that's something else. But the thing is that he should have used he used the hard ER word or something like that. He should have censored himself, and he wouldn't have got caught in that mess. But he didn't, and I think that was early on his career. So I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but I think in the big picture of it all, we all learned from that, hey, you can't be using these words because everything is like sensitive, you know what I mean? And I know that is a bad one, but then they use the word like when they call it small people, what we used to call them all the time was midget, right?
Right.
And now they say, "Oh, that's bad. What are you saying? Oh, that's like using the ER word." I'm like, "What? Like seriously?" They're like, "Yeah." They're supposed to say small people. I'm like, oh man, Spence on the tiras, but I don't know all these acronyms, and I just want to like say, if I do slip up and I say something wrong, it's not because I'm doing it out of a bad heart. It's because I'm old and I don't know all these different acronyms. Yeah, I'm barely learning LOL, LMAO, so I need to catch up with this stuff. But when it comes to the interview, yeah, he should have just used, acronyms or whatever to tell the story. And I'm pretty sure from now on he is. I think we all are. I mean, we're all learning from his mistake.
Well, absolutely. And here's the thing. This isn't the first time he used that word. There was a time where LA Times, Paul, he had Sonny Acosta and he had Gil and Boo Boo try to hash it out on his channel.
Yeah.
And it was a heated debate. They were going back and forth, and he slipped again. He used the N-word. Sonny called him out. There was a big controversy on that. So this is not the first time he used it in his vocabulary. This is already 2 times that I know of that he used that N-word. It slipped out. It was an accident. But now I think, how often are you using this word? Because, I mean, obviously it's in your vocabulary. So that's it's a touchy subject. And, not only me, everybody sees this. I'm not the only one who watches social media. I know you do. I know everybody else on this planet watches social media. And this is out there. What's your take on that whole thing?
I think, like, right now, Bobby, you're getting me into a corner. You know what? This interview's over, Holmes. Like, I'm out of here, Holmes. Like, that's it. You're getting me into a corner. No, I'm just playing around, Doc. I'm just playing around. Let me put this back on. The joke went too far. Okay. Now, the way I feel about it is what was the question again? No, I was just playing with you, man. Yeah, I was watching that live when it did slip out, and man, no disrespect, but I always speak what I speak out of my heart. I'm not here attacking nobody. But my mom always used to say, what comes out of your mouth was in your heart. And that's all I got to say about that. And I'm not saying that that's what he believes. I'm just saying, and maybe that's part of, like, when it's a part of your vocabulary, your verbiage, and that's a word you always use, then it tends to pop out. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's all I can say about that, because that's what I heard, the same thing you did. And I was like, when I heard it, I was like, what? Like, oh man. But yeah, that was bad too. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about that one. It's just, the thing is, like, when I was over there at No Jumper, I was there to help push the movement that we need to maintain. We need to have, people need to respect us. That's just like we respect them. And I'm not saying just the blacks. I'm saying all cultures respect each other. Okay, that goes to Asians, whites, everything. We should all be respected until the individual is deserving of not being respected anymore. Because if I go out there and I say something to some blacks or some whites or whatever, that's not me representing my whole culture. So they can't hate the whole culture over it. They got to hate me for what I do or what I say, so, because trying to blame everybody for one thing, that's a scapegoat, and it's not right, but, because I know, like, a lot of people, like 95% of people I know love or get along with black people, you know what I mean? Like, they intermingle with them and everything's feeding. Same thing with Asians, Islanders, all that. But of course you have 5% or whatever that they're hard heads, they're just ignorant, and they're set in their old ways, you know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. Like, they want to throw stuff around on set when you're having an interview, and yeah. So
Joe, when did you start getting into acting? At what point in your life did you get into acting, man?
1970, the day I was born. I was acting like a clown. That's what I was always been told. But yeah. But you know what? 3.5 years ago, I got into the movie industry. And 3.5 years ago is God blessed me, man, and just pushed me forward. And in 3.5 years, it's been a ride, man. It's been a ride. You know, I've been fortunate enough to, I think I produced in some way or another, like on 5 movies, and I've been able to act or perform in about 10 or more. And so, but not only that, like I've been able to make friends with a lot of people in the movie industry, people that I used to watch on in movies and TV, that now I could call them friends, that they're just feeding with people, like they're down to earth like me and you, like, you know what I mean? And they don't act extra, or they don't act like they're something more than they are, you know. So that's been like the biggest blessing right there, you know, to just to be able to meet a lot of great people. But not only that, to be able to hook other people up in the movie industry, and to be able to hook people together, like different nonprofits together with celebrities and stuff, where they're all working together and helping each other out to promote like different charities like No More Locked Doors and people like that, you know. So it's been a real feedback to be able to be a part of that, putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah, so the transition from the streets to the movie set, it's completely different. You know, you're living a certain lifestyle. Now you're over here portraying whatever you want to portray in a movie, right? What was the motivation for that? I mean, is it cool? Was it cool for you? I mean, why the movies and why not something else?
Well, the thing is, like, the movie industry always attracted me since I was young. Always attracted me. My grandpa was a big time movie buff, and so he would always take us to like Universal because he was always intrigued, right? So then I was always intrigued, like, with him. So me and him would talk about all these old movies, and that's one thing we had in common. But I was always just in the vaudeville until I was 21. Then I got married, and then from 21 to now, I've been married 31 years, and I had to work, man. I had to provide for my family, for my kids, wife. But now that all my kids are adults and they're doing their thing, and now I go, you know what, I'm gonna give this a try. And like I said, God's the one that blessed me and opened these doors. And it just seems like everything happened fast. Like before I knew it, and about 1.5 years into it, the first year I was already started producing. I mean, I've done more producing than I've done acting. And I've had people tell me like, hey Joe, I've been in the movie industry 10 years, I'm still doing background. Like, who do you know that got you in here, you know? And I said, it's God. God's the one that got me in here. He's the one that's showing favor in me to do all this, you know? Because it's definitely not me. You know what I mean? I do my part. I work and I show them what I can do. And then they're the ones that say, hey Joe, we got this new movie coming out. Will you help us on this? Will you help us on that? And then that's how I got started with the Kilroy movie. I was helping them out, getting locations, getting vehicles, getting actors. And so they brought me on board as a producer for that one. And same thing with the Cholo Zombies, just making props, actors, locations, just doing everything I can do. And they brought me in as an executive producer on that one. So ever since then, it's just been spiraling, you know. And I've been able to work with a lot of great people, and, you know, work with Tara Reid, you know, from American Pie and stuff. That was really cool just to meet her, but let alone like work with her as an assistant AD. Like, that was cool to be a part of that project. And so, but the one that really sticks in my mind is Paul Rodriguez, the actor. That's the one, like, I sat there on set with them for 12 hours, and I was a producer, but they had me sit there and like make sure he was cool and whatever. And man, he just gave me so much stories about his life.
What kind of person is he?
Man, he's really down to earth, funny, serious, but when he's funny, he's on. But the life experiences that guy has, like going to Nelson Mandela's house for dinner, being friends with Selena when she was a little girl and her dad, man, Richard Pryor stories. I mean, just stories that you'd be like, man, like, it's a trip. And so I'm hoping soon, I'm supposed to go to his house to interview him because he has a lot of pictures he wants to show me too. So I'm hoping to get that done in the near future, because man, he has a wealth of knowledge and life experience in the movie industry like I don't think anybody else has. That's Latino, Hispanic, Chicano. We'll go through that whole list. Do I do it every time? But yeah, But yeah, he's just a great man. He's a great man.
I love him in Born in East LA. I mean,
Yeah.
when I first seen him in that movie, dude, I was like, man, that dude, right? He's funny.
When he had the beer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Classic, dude. Classic.
Yeah.
Paul Rodriguez is one for the books for sure, man.
Yeah, it definitely was inspiring to talk to him. And I worked on it with him on a couple of different movies. So it was, and everything, you give him lines, okay, here, this is your script. And he'll do it, but he always goes off script and makes it way better. And it's a trip, man, because the guy's just natural. He's naturally funny, naturally talented. And you're like, okay, he's going to do this and be funny. Then he does it, it's funny, but he adds to it. And it's like, wow, like you have to be quiet because everything's rolling. So you're just like biting your lip, like trying not to laugh, you know? And then when it's done, everybody starts bursting out in laughter because of what he just done. Yeah, it's a trip, man. It's just... It's good to sit there and watch because you don't always have to talk. Sometimes it's good to sit back and watch how these guys work and watch, you know, like what God gave them which is that ability to entertain us.
That born-given talent, you know.
Yes,
I mean?
yes.
Him and Cheech Marin are one of my favorite actors. These guys were naturally just funny. They were naturally talented, and they made a big ripple in the movie industry as Latino actors. Those guys, man, I mean, Cheech and Chong, bro, you know what I mean? I can go on. These guys are, you know, now we got, I mean, there's a lot of Latino actors now. A lot of them.
Yeah.
But back in the day, these guys were the shit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
To this day, people are hanging posters up of Up in Smoke and all that stuff, right? It's classic, bro. It'll never get old.
Yeah. But it's funny because if everybody here that's watching opens their eyes to the industry, you're going to see that back then the Latinos were very, very small as far as the numbers, right? And that's why we can name most of them, you know, off the top of our head.
Right.
Right now in the industry, there's so many Latinos in there. We don't even have a corner of the industry yet, but there's a lot more Latino actors out there that's doing it. And they're getting on the big screen. They're getting on Hulu TV. They're getting put out where they're being recognized. And that's a good thing, man. And that's thanks to the founders, like the guys that were out there putting in the work when it was hard because of discrimination and stuff. So it was like Paul Rodriguez, Cheech Marin, you know, Emilio Rivera, Danny Trejo, like all these guys. And even before them, like you had, what's his name from, I forgot his name, Prince. What was his name? He's a big actor. He died of an OD. He was part of Chico and the Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and now his son's an actor. Freddie Prinze Sr.
Right.
You know, he was out there putting in that work, you know. So there's a lot of people that need to be recognized for that. The early founders, I want to say, that were like just pushing through the racism, man, and pushing through always being put on the background and stuff like that, but they pushed their way forward to the camera to where they were like getting some leading roles and stuff like that.
And one of the hit shows that's out right now that's a Latino-based show, comedy show, is this fool, Frankie Quinones. You were a part of that show as well as Sonny Acosta. What was that whole experience like?
That was Feed Me. That's right there. It's written by Chris Estrada, the comedian, and Frankie Quinones being one of the lead actors in there too. And it was Feed Me, dog, like just to be out there and be on set and meet these guys and like it's a trip because now when I see Frankie at places, now he knows who I am. I know, hey, what's up? We talk, you know, for a bit or whatever. We talk through social media, but man, just you see where these guys are just humble. That's what I like, man, because they're not like thinking, I got my own dressing room, I'll be over here a rato. No, they come over where we're at, where what we're called feature. Like Sonny was a feature, I was a feature, and just they come out there with us and they kick it, talk, whatever, take pictures. And everybody, Fabian Alomar, Feed Me Vato too, really good guy. And he's out there doing his thing. And that's one thing, like with Fabian, he was out there giving out backpacks for I think it's the Heart Foundation. They're out there giving backpacks at Echo Park So we went out there to go help him too, and he's just giving back to the community. You know what I mean? And like his stories is a big, fantastic story, but he's keeping himself humble. You know what I mean? And so, but being part of that TV show, we filmed, right? And I said, man, my scene was so small, I didn't tell nobody about it. Me and Sonny kind of did the same scene that day. And I go, I'm not gonna tell nobody because I'll probably wind up on the cutting room floor or something. So I didn't say nothing. So when the show came out, season 2, my part came out, it was only like a couple seconds, but I got a lot of text messages and DMs. Hey Joe, is this you? Like people take screenshots of their TV. I go, yeah, that's me. Like I didn't know like I was gonna be, like I knew we might get a feature, but I didn't think it was people were gonna really see it. Especially I had glasses on. It's like ain't nobody gonna recognize me. And I had this Pendleton too. I wore it just for you, dog. See, Sonny can sit right here next to me. But yeah, it was feeding me just to be a part of that show. But the reviews, it had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like what other TV show have you seen that gets 100% on Rotten Tomatoes? They're hard, dog. Like they really scrutinize every show. But this fool got 100%. That was feeding me. They got a great report from the New Yorker, Rolling Stone magazine gave them 5 stars. They've been doing really, really good.
And that just goes to show how many people were watching the show. Tons of people were watching the show.
Yeah.
You know, I'm friends with you and Sonny, and when I went to work, people were telling me, hey man, aren't you friends with so-and-so? I'm like, yeah. Man, they're movie stars. I'm like, I wouldn't say all that, but I mean, they're doing good. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they will be movie stars, but they're doing really well. And I'm proud of them. You know, they're doing great. But in the Latino community, you don't see a lot of that. And let alone for people to be like, hey, recognizing the people, right? And it's like, man, this show is it's doing very well. It's like the George Lopez show, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge show.
Yeah.
I feel like this show is like sort of on that magnitude. It's like it's catching vibes. It's getting a lot of attention, man. And I hope that there's more seasons coming.
Yeah. It would be a trip if there wasn't, because of everything that's going on with it. You know what I mean? All the great reviews.
Right.
You know, it's a trip because even my nerdy cousins were watching it. Yeah, I've even had like some people of the light complexion that were watching it be like, hey Joe, was that you? I'm like, why are you watching that show? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but they're like, yeah, it was funny, you know. But so I guess it just relates to everybody, man. Like everybody, like no matter your color, they're watching it, and that's a trip, man. That it can break barriers where you think it's only one community that's gonna watch it, but it's not, man. You got white people, black people, you know, watching it, and that's a trip, man. That's a lot of respect right there for people to take, because right now time is precious, so people are taking time out to sit there and watch it. Absolutely. You know, that's feeding me, and I appreciate them doing that. And Chris Estrada coming in as a strong writer and doing that. I mean, there's a lot of TV shows that are coming up that are going to be coming out pretty soon that are all Latino based and Latino writers, directors and stuff. And I just encourage everybody to follow those ones, you know what I mean, and push them, because we're the only ones that can get us to that next level. You know what I mean? Yeah, you saw Sonny, he had all his features on there, and he got a little big-headed over it. We thought he lost weight, it's just his head got bigger, but...
No, well, he's naturally big-headed.
Yeah. But, you know, yeah, he's proud of him, man, for everything he did on that show and being a part of it and getting his face out there, because that only leads to bigger and better things over time. You know what I mean? And you can say, yeah, I was part of this, part of that. And that's the thing, like the only reason I really do this is I want to like promote to the youngsters, you know, guys, girls, whatever, and that's all different colors, that you can do something in life that's better than being out there on drugs or gang banging or tagging or any of that stuff. You know, like you can go out there and you can find a career that you're going to enjoy. Like the TV stuff, the movie stuff, I enjoy that stuff. You know what I mean? If they didn't pay me or nothing, I'd still do it. You know what I mean? Type of thing. Like, and then you're leaving a legacy behind. So the day I die, my kids can show my grandkids, great grandkids, oh yeah, that was your grandpa on this show, and they could throw in the whatever they're gonna have, the chip that's on their hand or whatever, and say, watch this, and then just do it, or this is what your grandpa produced or whatever. So you leave a legacy behind, and that's feeding it. That's a good thing, because us being veteranos from the neighborhood, we don't get benefits, almost. Not like military ones, you know what I mean? The military veterans, they get benefits, medical, and we're being veteranos from the neighborhood, we don't get no benefits, dog. So we have to create our own, and our own legacy for our kids to see. So I just want people to realize that when they see Sonny on the screen, that, man, that vato was real about it. Like, you know what I mean? That was really him with that white rocha right there. Yeah. But you're next, Holmes. We got to get you on there next.
Yeah, man. I would love to be on a little show, man. You know, especially, you know, I really like the Mayans, man. The Mayans is a big show. It's cool, man. You know, the biker, the whole facade and shit. That would, you know, I would like to be on something like that, or even this fool. I mean, Latinos have come so far, right? Lately. Because and you know they deserve that light, because everybody's got their own little thing going on. BET's got their shit going on, right?
Yeah.
The Caucasians have many outlets, you know, and Latinos don't have that. So this is a start, you know, and I hope it gets bigger, because they deserve that light too, man.
Speaking of that, like, well, I was wondering why you were auditioning today, why you wore your Chucks, huh? You try to look like Jax, huh, from the Sons of Anarchy. Okay, I get you. I get you. But
feel me?
We're I'm working with Andy Rodriguez, and he started the LAMPA, the Latin American Motion Picture Awards, and that's recognizing people in arts and entertainment, but people that, not only that, but people that work in the community, that give back to the community. So we recognize them, and we do an award show for that. And they just had the last one a few months ago, and we recognized Danny Trejo, Pepe Serna, Art Bonilla. Man, we had Creeper from the Mayans. There was a lot of Antonio Jaramillo from the Mayans. We had a lot of celebrities were there, and we recognized a lot of them. You know, so that was cool that we have our own award show now that we're doing, and we have another one coming up in December. And the one coming in December, you can buy tickets to go and sit there. With like the Oscars and the Grammys, all that stuff, you really can't. But with this one, you can buy tickets, and all the money, all the proceeds go to the charities that we're working with, right? Was this year's gonna be No More Locked Doors, and then we're also working with helping people in Mexico and helping the kids, and that their parents are locked up, to get Christmas gifts. So go under Lampa on Instagram, LAMPA, and follow us for further information. But this year's lineup for the awards on December the 3rd, it's going to happen, and I think it's the City of Industry at a golf course out there. I don't know all the details yet. Man, I have this lineup that's going to blow everybody's mind. I can't talk about it, but it's going to blow everybody's mind.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, man, I wish I could, but I can't.
I'll cut this part out. Go ahead.
Yeah. I can't reveal this list that we have right now of confirmed celebrities coming out to be awarded, but it's bigger. So every time they do this, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but it's for us, you know what I mean? It's to recognize not only the actors, but to recognize the guy that's putting the lights up, or doing audio, or doing any kind of production, or anything like that, but also the guy that's giving back to the community. Like and there's so many out there, I don't want to just name one, but there's people out there working their communities to give out food, to give out, you know, to help kids to find something to do after school, you know, like a recreation and stuff. So we recognize those people too.
Joe, do you have a positive message to give to the person who wants to do what you're doing, or wants to become somebody, but who's scared to come forward? Do you have any positive message for them?
Yeah, you know what? The only message I have, like, if you want to get into the movie industry, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
If you want to get into the movie industry, contact Sonny Acosta, and he'll. No, I was messing with you. No, if you want to get into the movie industry, don't get into acting class right away. Look for a company like URA Casting, or there's a lot of casting companies out there. Get into background first. Make sure that's what you want to do. There's a lot of people that they'll go and they'll pay $1,000 or $2,000 to get into acting class, and then they'll go on set and start acting or do background and say, oh, I don't like this. It's a lot of waiting. Oh, wow, I'm gonna sit there for 12 hours and then film for 5 minutes. But that's the industry. That's the way it works. You know, that's a lot of hurrying up and waiting. And so if you don't mind waiting, you know, for your turn to go film, then it's cool. Then you'll be okay. But you gotta dip your toe in the industry first, or go to a casting company, get yourself casted into something where you're a background, and see if you like it. And don't go off your first time. Do it 2 or 3 times, and then make that judgment call to go spend your money on acting class. But if you do decide like, hey, I love this, go to acting school. Anthony Gilardi Acting Studios on Melrose in Hollywood. The best acting coach that there is. All the big studios use him, and he's not like super expensive or anything, but he's super talented, and he's got passion for what he does. And he's taught me. Clayton Cardenas from the Mayans goes there. I've been there in class where he's sitting next to me, and I'm like, this guy's already a star. What is he doing here? But he's still sharpening his craft, you know. And that's the thing, man. A lot of great actors have been over there. Richard Cabral. I mean, there's a big list. You could stay here all day and talk about that. But Anthony Gilardi Acting Studios in Hollywood, man, that's where you're gonna learn. That's where it's almost like therapy too. It'll help you deal with maybe stuff you're going through in life, but you'll learn a lot about humanity, and you'll learn how to create yourself with every character, you know. So that's my recommendation.
Well, Joe, thanks for your time. I appreciate you coming down and sharing your story. Had a great time, a great conversation. Wish you nothing but the best on your future endeavors, and I wish nothing but greatness to you and everything that you're moving forward on, man.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for having me out here today. I appreciate it. And I know we've been talking about this for like a year or something, you know, but I'm here now, ain't I? You know what I mean? You know, we're doing it, and I'll come back anytime you want me to come back. I'll come back. Man, I appreciate you, man, and all these stories that we get to watch right here and see what people went through or people are doing. Like, man, it's all love, dog. It's all love, because you're getting those messages out there that need to be talked about. And I respect that 100%, man. Just try not to have Sonny on as much, but everything else, you're doing good, also.
Well, thanks again, Joe. Appreciate you, man. We'll have you on next time, man. But until then, I appreciate everything that you do, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Peace, love, and happiness, also. You know what I mean? That's what I always say.